Hola! Bonjour! Bienvenue! Welcome! G'day, mate! Glad you can make it. Check this out. Red light hovers over Salem. I talked to these guys. So, well, the government's supposed to release what they know about UFOs and UAPs, unidentified aerial phenomena. So I'm going to get ahead of the curve a little bit. I'll read the story. Aussie accent when I'm done, eh? That'll be a real treat. But yeah, I was get ahead of the curve a little bit. So yeah, it was September of '89. I just got up and I got dressed and just sitting in the living room. I had the TV on, but I wasn't watching anything. And I say here, but it was telepathic. I heard them talk to me telepathically. To me, it's just like talking, except you're just not using your mouth and you're doing it at a distance. So they said, "Come outside. You want to see this?" Kind of like, I don't really know you. It's like, no, you want to see this. Like, okay, well. And at that time, I lived in the alleyway, right in the middle of the block, between, well, Summer and Winter Streets, which was interesting. I didn't know whether I was fall or spring. It kind of depended part of the year, I guess. And, yeah, come outside, you want to see this. Okay, so I kind of opened the door and kind of look out, and didn't see anything. Had a little kind of a landing step, and it led immediately to a path that immediately turned right to a carport and a little utility room in front of it. It had a washer and dryer. So I went out, kind of turned right, looked around I didn't see anything. It's like, what's going on? So I thought, well, I kind of felt dumb now because why am I out here? So I thought, well, I'll check the washer and dryer. Maybe there's something in there. But there was nothing in there, so I kind of perplexed. Like, what was that? You know, the people that talk to me are never wrong, so I went back to the house and I was about to close the door when I heard, "No, what are you doing? Come back. You want to see this?" It's like, geez, all right. It's like a whole bunch of people yelling. So I came outside and went in the step and went to the path and took one step to the right and turned, and it's like, okay, I'm outside, now what? And they go, look up. And I had a hat on. So if you're looking for UFOs or UAPs, unidentified aerial phenomena, don't wear a hat. So I looked up and it's like the red sphere. And it was, I don't know, less than a quarter mile away. Appeared to me to be over what would be the river or Wallace Marine Park. It wasn't very high. 900 feet, something like that. About, I'd say 18 to 20 feet around. I was thinking if you held a dime at your arm's length, it'd be a little smaller than a dime, maybe. I don't know. But yeah, wow, what is that? You know, I was kind of trying to compare it to everything I'd ever seen in the air. This is something different. This is something new. Wow, what is that? Now, I don't know why I didn't ask him, like, hey, where are you from? What's your name? You know, I was just kind of, I probably looked like a dog that hears something he's never heard before. Okay, turned in my head. So I thought, well, I had a camera with one shot that I remember my girlfriend, she took a picture of a vase or curtains or something. She wanted to get the roll developed. This is 89, way before anything digital, so everything was pictures. So I could use that picture, and I thought, well, I could wake her up, but by the time she got out of bed, and this thing might be gone, she'd just be mad that I woke her up. So I just thought, well, I'll just watch this. I just, if I ever get that opportunity again, I'll ask them, hey, who are you? Where are you from? Anyway, but yeah. And it just sat there, so rock solid still. I was just amazed how. Then when it started moving, you almost couldn't tell it was moving, but it had just been so still before that I could see it. It's just so slow, and then like the further away it got, the faster it got. I was kind of losing it between the trees, and then when it started going, it looks like it was going really fast, and then there's just kind of a silvery shimmer, and then it was gone. Oh, wow. Okay. I just kind of sat down and just thought about that for a while. It's interesting. And I went to work I was working graveyard shift. Me and my girlfriend worked the same place as a vegetable manufacturer that did like massive amounts of corn, beans, broccoli, cauliflower. But this time, I think we're doing shift eyes on. They're still doing broccoli, I think. But yeah, corn, broccoli, peas, carrots sometimes. But yeah, we were I was carpooling with some people that lived in another town. They drove right by our house, so they picked us up, and we were working out of town, north of town. So I worked that night, and someone might have mentioned it. I don't think I told anyone. Someone I worked with want to mention something about it, and I might have told him something about it. I don't know if I told him I had telepathic communication, though. But anyway, he's the only person I told. But I saw a newspaper. I saw this clipping in the paper. So I thought, oh, other people saw it. So I guess I can talk about it. The next day, driving to work, I told him what I'd seen. I thought, well, I saw this in the paper. It's kind of okay to talk about now. So I told him about what I'd seen, and when we took the back way to the plant, because the guy I was driving with, he drove forklift outside, and it was just, I always hung out. I worked predominantly outside. I drove receiving for years. I think there's like a 3-year period while I hauled more tonnage than anyone there. So inside was kind of a zoo. I spent most of my time outside, and I'd eat lunch at the scale house because I didn't really enjoy going to the plant a lot. It was just nicer. You could eat in peace. And so anyway, I told him the story, and it's kind of a dark road because all there is scale house where the trucks get weighed and everything. And it was a couple 100 yards from the plant. And we came up to the last turn. I just finished telling him the story, and we could see the scale house in, I don't know, a couple 100 yards distance ahead. As we take the final turn, there's a black helicopter sitting above the road about 40 feet up and about 20 feet off the left-hand side of the road. Like, whoa! They're all going, what? The driver, my buddy, what is that? Is that a helicopter? And we're all kind of shocked. My girlfriend had been in the military. She's, oh, what kind of, she's interested about the helicopters. Like, do you understand the repercussions of this? But she wasn't all there. She really wasn't all there, poor girl. And so we drove under. I looked under it. I couldn't see all of it when we went under, but of course you heard it. And we drove to the scale house and parked, and we're all kind of looking back. It's just sitting there. I thought, that must be for me. So anyway, I remember keeping close track of time after that. But it was a couple days later I broke up with my girlfriend. It was over a long time before we broke up, and it was really better for both of us. She got away. We parted company. That poor man. Anyway. So it was like maybe 3 days after that we broke up, and I didn't want to drive around in plant. The job I had was driving inside the plant. It was trash driver. I had a special forklift that could pick up stuff and then turn all the way around and dump stuff out. So at this time we were just running a half shift. So really wasn't much going on. Staff there kind of knew what was going on, so they didn't give me a real hard time. I spent like a couple of weeks just hiding out. I usually could do everything I need to do when I got on shift, and then at break and lunch I didn't have people walking around, and so I had a fast track. I could just do everything I needed to do, and pretty much just hide the rest of the night. The sanitation lady was always trying to have me mix chemicals and stuff, and I wasn't into mixing and carrying chemicals around, so I found good places to hide. I'd out in where all the pallets were, the south end of the plant. It was kind of attached to where the cold storage was, and that was a different operation. There's no one ever from our plant had any reason to go out there, so no one did. But I did, because I was hiding. I remember one night I went out back there. I remember it was really dark. I remember thinking, wow, it's really dark out here. And I smoked at that time, so I was smoking. Finished my smoke and went back into the plant, and my forklift was gone. I thought, where's my forklift? And I saw some guy driving. I said, what's with this? One of the girls at the check stand goes, you were gone for where were you? You were gone for 3 hours. I looked at the clock and it's like, yep, I've been gone for, I missed lunch. What the heck? I usually did a lot of my work at lunch, so it's weird. I don't know what the deal is with that. So if there's some disclosure, I'd like to know what happened there, because I kind of think it was maybe some military. I didn't really feel bad about it or anything. It's just I didn't know. So yeah, and so I've had, the thing is, I've had telepathic contact with what would be called extraterrestrials for majority of my life. The person that, well, I got the idea of a higher self when I was a child, because the person that helped me sounded just like my mother. Yeah, she just helped me with problems. Or if I really needed to know something, she'd tell me. I don't know why I never really questioned her or asked her where she's from or this and that. I usually just, when I needed to know something, they were there. Or if I was having a problems with something, they'd help me. One of the first time I was in the backyard, and one of my mom's friends came by, and I was kind of upset because it was interrupting my mom time, I guess. I don't know. Probably jealous. She asked, "Are you mad at your mom's friend?" "Oh, yeah." "Well, why?" I said, "Well, I didn't know if jealous. I didn't know a reason to not like her, so I just picked. I said, well, she's fat." And she wasn't fat, but that's the only thing I could think of, I guess. She goes, "Well, she's not her fault. It's like she's like that. Not all her fault. And she really likes your mother. And your mother likes her. And I bet if you go in there, you'd probably like her too." So that's what I did. And she was right. Thing is, I remember talking to her there, and I was thinking, Mom's in there talking, but how is she doing that? I was just kind of amazed. I mean, how is she doing that? And the thing is, I was never corrected. I never asked directly, but I was never corrected either. So I kind of learned the concept of a higher self right there. It's like, wow, how is she doing that? And I asked one time if I could tell, if it was okay to tell people about, my garden. I thought of her as my fairy godmother at that time. I asked if I could tell people, but she said, "Well, be careful, because they might not understand. So, be careful who you tell, because they might not understand." So, couldn't lose my mother's faith, because she's the only lifeline I had. It's like, she seemed like the only real family I had. It's like the other people in that, my other siblings, and they all bonded with my father. They all thought like him. So I couldn't lose my mom's faith, so I kind of kept it to myself. But she helped me over and over. When I got pushed through the front window by my brother, she said, "Cover your head, curl up in a ball. Cover your head, curl up in a ball." She said it like over and over, like 4 or 5 times in like a split second. Just real calmly. Cover your head, curl up in a ball. Cover your head, curl up in a ball. And then I had a birthday. I had a birthday. I thought, birthday? I love these things. I think it was my 3rd birthday before that. I love these things. I have these every week. These are great. I didn't understand it wasn't mine. It's my brother's, so I didn't really understand what was going on. And I kind of got upset and went out to our car in the driveway, and the toy I wanted was in the back seat, and it was in the sun, and it melted. And I was like, eh. So she goes, "Well, are you mad at your brother?" "Yeah." "Well, why are you mad?" I go, "Oh, these birthday things what's with that?" I thought, she goes, "No, this is your brother's birthday. You had your birthday a while ago. You wouldn't want your brother mad at you at your birthday, would you?" It's like, "No." Well, I said, "Okay, I understand now." So I went back in. Everything was fine. That's what it was. She just kind of talked to me logically. Then there's someone's later in the summer, the next summer, or sometime when it was warm. We were going somewhere, and I got all my toys. And I was in the cargo area. It's like a station wagon. I had all my toys in the cargo area, and the back seat was down, and I had my foot in the gap where the seat would fold back. I had my foot back there, and my brother gets on the other side. He looks at me, looks at my foot. I look at my foot. I look at him. He looks at me. He gets the meanest look on his face. He's, and my guardian said, "Do not pull your foot out. Push it in. You could cut off your toes. Push it in as far as you can." So that's what I did, and couldn't get enough torque on it to cut my toes off or cut my foot in half, so that worked out pretty well. See, I was there the day my brother went to Vietnam, and I was just begging, no, don't go. I was hugging his leg, because he was kind of ran the house when mom and dad were working, so he was kind of our savior in a way, or mine anyway. I didn't, but I kind of noticed when I was saying don't go. They both had, mom and mother had kind of tears in their eyes, so I thought, well, I better back off a little bit, and I just said, well, okay, listen, I said, well, come back home soon. Come back home as soon as you can. If you have to go, you come back home as soon as you can. So, anyway, yeah, and I watched, so I was there when he came home, too. It was the happiest day of my young life. Came, he's in the passenger seat, his friend went with him, lived down the street, and left and came back same time he did. So he stopped in front of the house and was through the passenger door open and jumped over a 4-foot concrete wall and ran across the yard and up a little flight of steps where my mom was and gave him a big huge hug, and mom's crying and he's crying and we were like, yeah, he's back. It's the happiest day of my life, young little life. Then my dad picked a fight with him that night, got roaring drunk, because he's a narcissist, couldn't stand having someone getting more attention. Plus he was probably thought the worst of Vietnam vets, like a lot of people did, like some people did in those days. So didn't see him again, and that put my sister in charge, and that was a nightmare. But yeah, there's multiple times, and we got our house in Salem, actually north of Salem, what would later become Kaiser. I was watching the news about Vietnam, and I was just so disgusted. It was just so awful. I was thinking, I just asked, I pretty much yelled, like, when is this gonna end? When are things gonna change? And there's a hesitation. I thought, okay, that's different, hesitation. And I kind of understood what that meant. And then finally it's like 2020. And I knew kind of the hesitation was they're probably like looking through time to see if I went blabbing it for the next 40 years or so. So I kind of understood that I kind of had to keep this to myself. I couldn't really go blabbing it. So I didn't really tell anyone until 2019. Told a niece and nephew and a whole room full of people at a UFO meeting. There was 30 people or so. I said, something's going to happen in 2020. Don't know what, but you might want to be prepared for that. But yeah, things did change, didn't they? And they're going to keep changing until we figure this things out and all get on the same page. But the one thing that really stood out to me, and this, I met her. It was the realest dream, or whatever it was. Is I thought it really actually happened. The first Catholic school I went to had a condemned building that was all kind of taped off and nobody could get in. I just thought, wow, that's an interesting building. I'd really like to look in there sometime. One day I did. Meet a bunch of other kids. Teacher took us in there, and the other kids ran off somewhere, and me and the teacher went up to the top floor. It's like a little tower or something. I could see blue sky. Yeah. And we're just sitting there talking to each other, and she's pretty. She's nice, dark hair, and blue shirt, kind of sat there. She just sat there with her hands folded, and we're just talking. She goes, well, how do you like the school? I go, it was a Catholic school. It was a different Catholic school, and they hated me too. I had the first grade, I asked about God, and I had the Catholic priest screaming in my face, aren't you afraid of going to hell? I said, no. He said, well, you're going to go to hell. It's like, no, I'm not. This guy is not a very good priest. And when I went to Catholic school, I felt like the only spiritual person there. And, I didn't take what he said serious or personal, because every time I knew what an alcoholic was, and he kind of had the watery eyes, and I thought, he's an alcoholic. So I didn't take it personal, but it's like the whole staff and student body hated me. And, she goes, well, how do you like the school? I don't like it very well. She goes, why is that? I go, well, I don't think they like me here. Well, why is that? And I think it's because they're Catholic. She goes, well, I'm not. And it kind of struck me. Like, wow. Huh. Well, a Catholic teacher at a Catholic school, not Catholic, but maybe she's a substitute teacher, I thought. But it really never occurred to me that I didn't have to be Catholic. I could be something else. It'd be whatever I wanted. I just thought, And she goes, well, if you tell your mom what you told me, I think she'd probably let you go to another school. So I thought, okay, I'll do that. I did, and I went to public school after that. So, I mean, it was like divine intervention to get me out of what was kind of torture for me. And second grade, it was a different school. It was a different Catholic school. It was a little better there, but not much. And through my life, I've gotten help so many times. Driving a motorcycle, I left home or got kicked out, one of the two. Dad caught me smoking marijuana. It was 3 a.m. It was a month after graduation, and a few weeks before my 18th birthday. I was smoking marijuana out my bedroom window with my bed pushed against the window, and I was on my knees with my back turned. He flips on the light. Or he throws open the door, flips on the light, and sees what I'm doing. He pounced like a cat in the bed and gave me a right hand, left hand to the head. So I thought, time to leave home. I was watching him. He knocked me on the floor. The left kind of knocked me on the floor, and I kind of popped up to where I was facing him. And he's like looking at me, and I'm looking at him. I thought, well, if you come down here, I'm either kick you or punch you right between the legs. And it's like he kind of woke up out of a stupor or something. And he kind of realized what he did, and I thought, well, he's not coming down here, I guess. And I kind of looked, some of the ash from the pipe I had got in the bed, and I kind of glanced at that, and he like looks at where I'm looking and sees the ash, and he goes, look what you did! He's like, okay, I'm leaving. So I left home there. So that was that. But yeah, I got stuck driving a motorcycle after that because I needed a place to live, a vehicle, and a job. So a friend of my brother's had a vacancy, so I went to his house and I got a motorcycle because it was cheap. You can get them cheap in those days. They weren't status symbols then. I got the perfect motorcycle for me. It was light, and I had a warranty too. And needed a job, so I started working at the food processor. So, and then the guy I ended up living with, ended up getting a lifelong relationship with him, and worked where his dad owned this hazelnut farm from hell. Ended up there in 20 years, like a 20-year sentence. And there's another time I had a car. This time went to intersection of Tyrion Island. It was a couple blocks away from the second Catholic school I went to. And came same time as a bus it was a three roads came together, and a stop sign. About the same time, he might have been a little ahead of me, and he was kind of looking at me, I'm looking at him, and I heard, let the bus go. I thought, I don't want to let the bus go. And so I just went, and I immediately felt, oh, this is wrong. I shouldn't have done this. And so I was kind of crawling along. Oh, I thought there's one road you could take to get off this road, and I could turn the arrow. Don't be stupid. It's going to be all right. Just be careful. So I went up to the light, and this is one of the weirdest lights in Salem. It's got roads coming from odd angles, and there's railroad tracks running through it. So when I got up to the light, I was going to make a turn to the right, and you can do that on a red light if there's no traffic. And there's an old guy standing there with some people. I thought, well, he's okay. I don't like the look of him, but he's got some people with him. So anyway, I'm looking to see if I cleared track, and I got an opening, and I just barely moved. I don't even know if I moved, really. I just started, but, the witness said it's like he just fell right on top of my car. But it's an old guy. He was like in his 90s. And he just fell on top of my car, and holy God, and put it in neutral, put the emergency brake, took off my seatbelt all at once, and jumped out in front of him and held out my left hand like I was going to stop a car or something. But he really wasn't close to the traffic. But I kind of knelt down over him. He goes, my umbrella, give me my umbrella, I need my umbrella. It's like, oh, you're right? Okay, I just, he just really wanted his umbrella, so I gave him his umbrella. And he said, okay, I'll be okay, just drag me to the curb. It's like, no, we gotta get you help. And so, anyway, I was just freaked out and a little devastated, and the cop came up to me, and he goes, afterwards, and you could see I was agitated, and he goes, well, that's why you got insurance. I think he looks like it'll be all right. And he's kind of got a grin on his face and kind of amused look, and he goes, that guy has the same last name as you? I went, what? That's impossible. He goes, no, it's the same it's spelt different, but it was the same people. It was the early spelling of my last name. It's like, oh wow, that is weird. It's like I went against my guardian and I hit one of my relatives. Hey, that's not cool. But the thing is, I've had telepathic communication with extraterrestrials. See, the communication I got is extraterrestrial. I've been told by a couple of people now. The first person, I later had a lot of reason to distrust her, but I think at this time she's being truthful. And I talked to another Joyce, beautiful young woman north of the border, a couple of them actually, and she verified this, that who was talking to me was, well, the first person was my mother, my galactic mother. It seemed like my mother's higher self, because it was felt the same and sounded the same, and they both had unconditional love like my mother. So if they're really gonna disclose what's going on, they've known. I mean, they've been hiding technology since Nikola Tesla. I mean, we could have went that route and had free electricity and drove electric cars and had spaceships. But we chose the other way. So hopefully they're getting back to free energy and all the technology that's been hidden from us. There's a manufacturer of aircraft. On his deathbed, he said, everything you see in Star Trek, Star Wars, we can do now. We have the ability to take E.T. home. And I'm fairly certain that the vast majority of the folks upstairs, there's probably millions and millions just hanging out above or in orbit, just waiting for the day that we learn that we're all in this together, and we grow up and stop hating each other and realize we're all humans, we're all on the same team. I learned I found Albert Einstein when I was 11 or 12, and he used to talk about the last 2/3 of his life, he talked about God all the time. Look at quotes of Einstein and God, and there's page after page. But I knew what I thought about God, and I thought, he's smart, I want to know what he thinks. And he thinks quite a lot like me. He was working on what he called spooky action at a distance, and we call that quantum entanglement now. But I've kind of, learned that we're all quantum entangled. Everything here on Earth is quantum entangled. Every drop of water, every rock, every plant, animal, including us, we're all connected. That's why if someone's suffering somewhere, it affects us all. I think with the technology we have right now, 100 billion people could live on this planet happy and healthy and still have a beautiful planet. I'm certain of that. And we could be flying in spaceships right now and using all the Star Trek, Star Wars technology that's available to certain groups but has been kept from us. This world is a twisted pyramid system. Twisted dark pyramid system. The only way to get to the top is to basically sell your soul. And me and you and everyone we'll ever know is stuck in the bottom. So I think it's time to turn this pyramid upside down and turn it different color than dark black. Let's turn it the gold yellow of unconditional love. It's where the meek shall inherit the earth, and that's us. And Abraham Lincoln said something once: most powerful force in this nation is the voice of the people. Well, we're older and smarter, and we've learned more. So how about this? The most powerful force in this nation is the minds of the people. Let's start using our heads. I think we all agree that making decisions in a calm manner is probably the best. One way, I think, if you wonder about the truth, you can find out for yourself, and one of the ways to do that is meditate. And probably the only complaints about meditation are don't have time or you don't know how. But, well, you kind of do. You go to bed every night, you're there, you're laying down, you're relaxed. I mean, you're halfway there. All you really have to do is just concentrate on your breathing. Just in and out, and just really concentrate. And if a stray thought comes in, well, you can just let it drift away and just continue concentrating on your breathing. And if you have problems sleeping, this might help too. So that's my suggestion. And the other thing is, if we really want to know who ET is, we could invite him. See, the thing is, I just have a sliver of Blackfoot Indian in me, but it resonates more than anything. And my mother was extremely gifted. She trained with a medicine woman as a child. And I've only had 3 friends in my life that I know they've had my back and they know I've had theirs. I mean, I've had a lot of people's backs in my lifetime, but not many have had mine. These 3 guys did. And they were 3 sons born to 3 brothers, and they were all native to their dads work at Chamawa Indian School, and we're all the same age. We all had the same classes, all played in the same sports teams. Football, basketball, baseball. And they were like my brothers. So, and even my father, he had dealt with a Lakota club job he worked, and they even gave him an honorary name, Spotted Eagle, because he got along with everyone. But he's a narcissist. He kind of hated everyone equal, but I'm more like my mom. I love everyone equally. So I guess I do have a native name. I guess that'd make me son of Spotted Eagle. And I think what I saw, I would consider star people, because that's what they were. And the natives have a relationship with the star people. I like to appeal to all the shaman, elders, medicine people, council members, that if the star people want to land on reservation land, they be considered people like everyone else. Because there's a global law that says anyone from another planet has no rights. So if they landed, they'd have people, half dozen agencies on them. But I think the Native Americans are maybe the only group of people that can really do this and say, okay, if star people want to land, they'll be considered people and be given rights. And this could go a long way towards healing the trauma that, well, it's like an invading army came in and decimated the native population. So this could go a long way towards healing that. But this is my humble proposal, and God bless and thank you. I'll do another video with the Aussie reading. It's getting a little dark, so anyway, look for that. And I hope to do a class or have a meetup group or a discussion group or something. I think what I know might become more relevant soon, so stay tuned, and I love you.